Hey everybody and welcome to the Hot Tag with your girl Izzy. Today I am super excited to welcome you to my interview with somebody who is extremely dedicated to the pro wrestling business, which clearly shows in their work inside the ring. They performed on Maryland Championship Wrestling, Ring of Honor, AEW Dark, and Dynamite, and many other promotions. They also are one half of the Varsity Blondes. They are Griff Garrison. What's up?
What's up, man? I'm so happy to be here and do this
Oh,
interview.
yeah, of course. Well, thank you so much for coming on to the hot tag. So, before we get into the serious questions, like a lot of people may not know this about you, but you're a huge video game nerd, specifically for Madden.
Oh,
And yeah, I know. So, with the playoffs literally here, who are you rooting for?
I'm a big LA guy, so I cheer for the Lakers, the Dodgers, and the Rams, and they play at I
Okay.
believe 4 or 4:15 today, and
Yeah.
they play the Seahawks. So I've kind of been stressing a little bit because the Seahawks are really good, and the last few weeks the Rams haven't been. So hopefully we can get our stuff together and pull out a W. So we'll see.
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying because, like, today, the Washington football team. I was about to say the other name. Can't do that.
They can't.
They're playing the Bucks, and it's like I'm a little nervous. Like this is scary. Like this is like where stuff is about to go down. Like I don't think I'm ready. So
Yeah, my dad's a big Washington fan too, so he's stressing out.
okay,
He's back there stressing right now too.
yeah, it's like scary, and they're going up against Tom Brady. Like I
Yeah.
don't know. And I asked my dad, I was like, okay, what happens if we lose? Because like I'm very invested in this season. He was like, oh, that's it. We're done. We go home. And I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, this isn't like before. This is like,
this is one and
oh,
done. Yeah,
yeah, it's so scary. And it's like kind of fun just to get into football because when I was younger, I really wasn't. I was just like, this is boring. But now
yeah.
I am. Like, it's fun and everything. So going back to Madden, like, do you have a go-to team that you like to like play with at every time?
Okay, that's weird because I do, and it's the Seahawks. So the Seahawks are
What?
actually my Madden team, just because I like using Russell Wilson, and
Oh,
I always
okay.
throw it to DK Metcalf too. So them two together.
Okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I sort of do, but that doesn't make any sense because you love the Rams and everything.
I know, but like whenever I'm playing Madden, I always like to have a quarterback that can run the ball too, which is really weird because like most of the time when I'm playing my friends, like they don't expect me to run the ball because I'm always throwing it every play. But like whenever I run like a Hail Mary or something and they always drop back, I just run the ball, get like 20 yards. So I always have
Okay.
to have a running quarterback when I play Madden.
Okay. Is there like any team or is that just like one and done like
Uh, like I use the Chiefs sometimes too, but like I don't like to use them just because they're a cheat code and they're so good. So
okay.
and the Seahawks are, I mean, they're still good, but they're not as good. But literally Patrick Mahomes is a beast. So I don't
He
want to.
is.
So.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping you'd say Washington football team, but I guess I was wrong.
I mean, yeah, they're okay. I like
What? No, you gotta. Okay, to be honest, Chase Young, he's the man.
Chase Young. He's a beast. I like him
Yes,
a lot. I love
thank
him.
you.
He's
What
good.
about Alex Smith?
I like him. I like his comeback story a lot too. My dad's a
Yeah.
huge fan of him. We actually have a jersey, his jersey like framed downstairs.
Oh,
So
no way.
yeah,
That's awesome. And I like that we're not mentioning Dwayne Haskins because nobody wants to talk about him.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. Can't bring
he
him
is
up.
out of the picture.
Yeah,
He was terrible, not gonna lie.
he wasn't the best
So
quarterback. No, not at all.
I know he was just every week I was just cringing watching him on the field, on the sidelines, like
Yeah, and then he got too cocky. I felt like he was just cocky, and then like now I don't think he's gonna have a job anywhere. Like I don't think anybody's gonna hire him.
I know, like I heard everybody was saying North Carolina. I don't know, like
Maybe. I mean, I don't know.
just put him somewhere besides Washington. I'd
He could
really
be, he could be,
appreciate that.
he could be a good backup somewhere, but
Yeah,
oh,
but I don't think he's ready for like NFL
oh
level.
no, 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 no.
He's like a kid. He really is.
Still a kid. Yeah,
It was terrible. But anyways, I think we need to get into the serious questions. And they're not that serious. I think you get my drift. And I
Okay.
think we have to kick off with the incredible opportunities that you had during a very unique 2020. Even though there was a bunch of stuff happening in this world, you were able to get your name out there even more, appear on multiple shows, compete on both AEW Dark and Dynamite, which you still are doing today. Realistically, you're living the true pro wrestling dream. And like I said, 2020 was such a challenging year. So, how are you able to turn that into a huge positive for yourself?
Well, it was crazy because when COVID all hit and everything, I was like, okay, well, I gotta start, like finding a real job and stuff like that. Because like I was
Mhm.
doing good with like indies and stuff, like I was like paying the bills and stuff like that. But all these shows just started getting canceled, postponed and stuff. And then out of the blue, like a month, like I think it was in April, like the middle or end of April, I got a call and it was like, hey, you want to come down to AEW? And I was like, yeah, like absolutely. And then I get down there and it's like, I was so nervous because like all these guys, like I've watched them literally on TV for the last year and a half or whatever. And it's, like, I was just so nervous because I thought they were going to like, big time me or whatever. But it was like all of
Mhm.
those guys there, man, they're just so nice and they're like so polite. And like guys like Tony Khan and Jericho and all those guys, they're always busy. But they like my first day there, they stopped and was like, "Hey man, how are you? What's your name?" So that was kind of reassuring to have guys like that kind of stop you and say like, "Hey, how you doing? Like glad to have you here." And my first loop down there, I wrestled Jimmy Havoc and Lance Archer, and
Mhm.
those matches, I guess I got my butt kicked good enough, and they wanted me to come back. And so, and then after I did the TV match with MJF, is when I got signed to a little contract, not full time, but and then ever since then, I've just been kind of doing Dark and Dynamite. Then I hooked up with Brian, and our chemistry's built over the last 3 or 4 months. And our story's weird because literally we were in the airport at the Charlotte airport and we were talking
Mhm.
and he was like, yeah, man, what if we tagged? Like, that'd be cool. Get down there the next day. It was our first tag team match together. So that was kind of cool how we started. And our chemistry's really built up a lot since we first started teaming too. So, I mean, yeah, like I like to say 2020 was like a terrible year, but it was also a blessing in disguise for me anyway.
It really was, I started to see you on AEW. I'm like, man, who is this? And like, I started to like watch your matches. I'm like, man, he's really good. And then when you guys became the Varsity Blondes, I was like, oh my God, I love them. And we'll get into that a little bit later. But you were talking about everybody in the back and how like polite they are and how they're willing to help. Oh, they're willing to help the younger talent. So like, is there anybody that's like a mentor to you, or is it like,
Um, a mentor, I would have to say Lance Archer.
okay,
Yeah, which surprised me because he always comes up to me. He's like, oh, you're a big guy. You better not bump around like if you don't have to and blah 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 blah. So like he always has my back. Like he's a really really good guy. FTR, I learned a lot from them because me and Brian wrestled them twice, once on
Mhm.
Dark and once on Dynamite, and it's just like how they call matches and how they put them together is so much different than how I did, and it was just so interesting to see how they do it, and their aggressiveness while they're wrestling is just amazing. Like they're
Mhm.
literally so good. Like those two guys have literally perfected their craft. So I'd say mentor Lance, but I've learned a whole lot from FTR.
That's awesome. And it's like kind of cool that you're going up against these guys. And from a fan's perspective, it's like, you guys hate each other. And then in the back, it's all like, friends, like we're family and everything.
Oh yeah.
So going back to all your goals and like what you did in 2020, that's going to give you a lot of momentum coming into the new year. So with that being said, how are you going to keep that going in 2021?
Just keep working. Honestly, I'm literally going to the gym 6 times a week, sometimes twice a day. I'm constantly watching wrestling. Like I watch like New Japan stuff, um, old stuff like from like the 70s, like literally 4 hours a day. Like
Mhm.
I'll just sit in front of the TV and just like I'll go on YouTube and just start watching something, and like how you get lost on YouTube for like four
Mhm.
hours. That's me every day with wrestling. So I'm just like, ooh, that looks cool, and it's like, oh, there's another one. Oh, oh, oh. So like that's just me. Like I'm always studying. Like I have a friend who's in the neighborhood. His name's Marcus Cross. He's like my old tag team partner, but he's
Mhm.
hurt right now.
Okay.
When he gets better, he'll come to AEW and have like a little tryout match. But we always go up there just about every day and we watch all sorts of wrestling. So
That's
just
awesome.
studying,
And
just studying.
yeah, it's really important to take those mental reps by watching, other people who have paved the way. Is there anybody that you've seen that's like really caught your eye and has given you tons of inspiration from what you've watched?
We watch a lot of Kenny Omega. I like his mannerisms and um, just everything he does. Like every match he has to me is flawless. So like
Okay.
it's just he's always caught my eye. Kota Ibushi, he's very good. Let's see, we watch a lot of the old Rock and Roll Express tag team matches, which are against the Midnight Express. So I mean, those you can't compete with those. So
Yeah, and I'm a little surprised that you said Kenny Omega because he beat you up on
he
AEW
did.
Dynamite. Like, is it kind of like a bittersweet moment that you were beat up by the champ, or is it
It
like,
was. It was because it was cool to get in there with the champ, even though he beat me up. But
hmm,
I still, even though he beat me up, I still love his matches. So I still
it's
love
bittersweet. It's like a love hate relationship, right? Kind of.
exactly, exactly. You got it.
Exactly. So, going back to all your hard work, you've been extremely busy with AEW and being a part of the Varsity Blondes because you've been putting tons of hard work into the pro wrestling business. Now, what I love about you and Brian Pillman Jr. as a team is that you guys actually look like a tag team. It's so important for many fans that tag teams work well together and look cohesive, and I'm one of those people, not gonna lie. So, how did you and Brian get to that place where you were able to work like a tag team and take on anybody on the AEW roster at any time?
Well, it's just I think part of it is just spending time with your tag team partner. Like not even wrestling, sometimes not even wrestling related. Like we'll just go hang out and just talk and stuff, just talk about life. Um, and before like Dynamite and Dark happens, we'll just get in there and roll around a little bit, work on what we want to do. And I mean, we still have a long way to go because I mean we've only been
Mhm.
tagging for a few months, but I feel like we've come a long way in those few months. So um, yeah, but we got a couple double teams that we like. We got a couple double teams that we use. So just expect us to keep growing and getting better for sure.
And you really are. And I think the AEW fans are, certainly keeping an eye out for you too. Now, I want to go back to something that you also enjoy, and that is video games. And you and Brian Pillman Jr. could be outnumbered sometimes. So, theoretically speaking, which video game character would you potentially add to the Varsity Bonds?
From the AEW roster,
Well, like a video game character. So, like, I don't know if they have to have blonde hair or, like, I don't know. Like, what's
hmm.
the criteria?
Yeah, you'd have to have blonde hair. I mean,
So I don't know if you ever played Legend of Zelda, so maybe Link, or I don't know.
that would be okay.
I'm going
That could
somewhere.
work. That could work.
I'm just saying.
That,
Have you played the series?
I haven't played it a lot, but I know who you're talking about, and that could
Okay.
yes.
Okay. If you ever get a chance, I don't know if you ever played it, but try Breath of the Wild. It is truly just breathtaking. No pun
Okay.
intended. It's really, really good. It's fantastic.
All right. Yeah.
But
I'll check that out.
yeah, you have to think about like video game characters. Like maybe somebody can dress up as Link and pretend to be a part of
And
the
just
Varsity
pretend that
Blondes.
yeah, that could work.
I'm just saying, I feel like this could become a thing. But finally, I want to ask you, where can everybody find you on social media? Where can they find your matches? If you have some sort of pro wrestling tee shop, go ahead, shameless promotion time.
Yeah, Instagram at Griff Garrison, Twitter at Griff Garrison one, and then Pro Wrestling Tees / Master and Machine is where you can find all of my shirts.
Yes, definitely. Make sure you guys check out all his social medias and pro wrestling tees. And Griff, thank you so much for joining me today on the hot tag. I had a great time talking with you.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. Hopefully, we can do it again soon.
Yes, definitely. And thank you guys for joining me on this episode of the hot tag with your girl Izzy. I will see you guys next time. Bye.